How you guys doing? My name is Desmond with Combs Group, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to go over the Home Partners of America program. We're going to talk about everything from the qualifications all the way to the buyback process and why I believe this may be the perfect program for anybody who's on the fence about renting and purchasing a home. All right, guys, so let's jump right into it. First, we're going to talk about the minimum qualifications for Home Partners of America. So Home Partners of America, the minimum qualifications are you need to have at least a 620 credit score. You need to have a combined applications income of at least $40,000. Now, your overall budget is going to be based off of your debt to income ratio, but you need to have at least a minimum of $40,000 to meet the minimum qualifications to purchase with Home Partners of America. Clean background, no open bankruptcies, and that's pretty much it, basic. So once you get qualified, they're gonna give you a budget based off of your income and your debt to income ratio. So whatever that budget ends up being, they say you're gonna get approved for $2,500 a month. So with that budget, once we get that approval, that's just like getting approved from the bank. We can go out, we can go home shopping for any home that's gonna fall within that value. So the way they do it is any house that's available on the open market, you can purchase just as long as the HOA allows them to rent the home and there are no stipulations as far as pre-qualifications for the person who's purchasing the home through the HOA. So the HOA plays a big factor in what houses are available, but just know any house that's available in the open market, you can purchase with Home Partners of America. They really love the newer homes, so if you are interested in a newer home in particular, Home Partners of America is probably going to be the right program for you. They don't really care too much for the older homes because the value is not there in the resale value, so they try to stay away from purchasing those older homes, but the newer homes for sure are ideally what Home Partners of America is looking to purchase. So once you get that purchase price, we can go home shopping. We select the home. Once you select the home that you want, we're going to submit that offer, and when we submit that offer, it's going to be an all cash offer. So hopefully the offer is strong enough that we can get a lower price, so that way when they set the buyback price, your buyback price should be what probably somewhere around what the current market value is for the house right now. So from a year from now, we want you to be able to purchase that house for market value. We don't want you to buy that house back and have to put more money into the home because the house doesn't appraise. So the initial offer, we're going to make sure it's strong, but give you enough room for you to keep equity in the home when you buy it. So once we submit that offer, if the offer is accepted, we have to send the inspection team out. Once the inspection team go out, they're going to check the home out to make sure everything is okay. The home comes back good, we'll move forward in the process. From that point, you'll sign your lease. You'll have a 1-year lease, and this lease can be renewed every year for up to 5 years. So each year there's a different buyback price. So whenever you purchase the house, before you get to submit the offer, you'll see the entire breakdown of what the house is going to cost you from year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5, and so on. And so this program does not require you to put any money down, but you do have to put a 2-month rent deposit. So it's just like renting. You know, you're going to put a 2-month rental deposit down. Now, the beautiful thing about Home Partners of America versus any other program out there, if you do not buy this house back, that 2-month rental deposit that you put down, you get that money back. You don't lose that money. So let's say you was in the house for a year, something came up, maybe you got a job in a different area, you want to move, you interested in a new construction that came up, you know, everything as far as your credit, work history, you have enough money for a down payment, or whatever the situation is that you want to move from this house. All you have to do is simply do not renew the lease. Let them know that you're going to be leaving after the lease expires. Move out. They're going to give you your 2 months rental deposit back once the lease expires. And that's it. You walk away. You've lost anything. And the rental price, you'll notice that when you see the rental price from a Home Partners home versus any other rental-owned programs out there, Home Partners is going to be really close to what the market rent is. Now, the other programs, I've done direct comparisons as far as Divvy Homes and Home Partners of America when I'm putting clients out there. the on average, I'm probably talking about like $500 less per month using Home Partners of America than the rent was with Divvy. So it's a really big difference when you doing the lease to own program like Home Partners or the rent to own program like Divvy. And you might ask, why would anybody use Divvy if the rent price was that much higher? Because Divvy allows you to purchase the house with a lower credit score. So you can get in a home with as low as a 550 with Divvy. It works good at 600, but that's why somebody would use Divvy over something like Home Partners of America, because their credit score is not at 620. If you don't have a 620 credit score, Home Partners is not going to approve you. Now, Home Partners, there is an application fee. I'm not sure exactly what that dollar amount is, so I'm not going to quote it, but there's 2 steps to the process. First, you're going to do the initial inquiry, and they're going to tell you, hey, you seem like a good fit for Home Partners of America. You can move on to the next part of the application. They're going to let you know what the application fee is. Submit all your documents. Once they approve you, the process goes pretty good. From the time that the application is complete, there's a minimum of 45 days before you can actually move in. So if everything goes really smooth, you still have to wait 45 days before you can actually move in. So even though the house will probably have like a 30-day closing window, you get the house, you select the home, inspection goes good, closing gonna be set from 30 days later. You'll move in 15 days, probably 15 days after closing. And so that's how the buy-in process works with Home Partners of America. Now, once you purchase the house, of course, the show is not over. You still have to buy the house back. Now, there's several options to buy the home back. If you're a veteran, you can use the VA loan. If the home is in a rural area, you can probably use USDA. It's probably not going to be in a rural area because Home Partners of America has really tightened up their areas where they purchase at. They're not really in the rural areas anymore. They used to be further out where you can purchase in some of the smaller areas around the major cities, but right now they've kind of shrunk their buying territory down because they want to make sure that houses are being purchased in areas that the value is going to keep increasing at a really good rate. So USDA is probably not going to be an option, but you can use FHA, conventional. If you got cash, you can buy it back with cash, but there's also the option of using NACA to purchase the home back. So any means necessary, any means available to you, you can use to purchase the home back with Home Partners of America. But the minimum qualifications when you purchase the home back are really different from what they are to get into the home. So to get into the home, remember, you only had to have just a minimum $40,000 annual income, no real time on the job. You could be 3-4 months on the job. As long as you meet the minimum qualifications, you can get into the home. But in order to purchase the home back, you're definitely going to need 2 years of employment history in order to get in the home. So just know, going into the rent-to-own process, however much time you have on your job is going to dictate how much time you have in this rent-to-own home before you can actually buy it back. So just know, if you're buying the home and you only got 4 or 5 months on the job, that you got another 1.5 years before you can actually start the purchase process of getting this home back. So from that point, you'll look at what the buyback price is in year 2, because you're not going to be able to buy it back in year 1 because you won't be eligible to get a loan at that point. So you look at the buyback price and see if it's worth buying it back. But that's why I really love this program, because if the year 2 buyback price is a little too steep for you, you got options, because you can look in the community, say, hey, I've got my credit fixed, I have a little money saved up, or the new construction community around the corner is roughly around the same price that they're asking me to buy this home back for, but the new construction is giving me, $14,000-$15,000 down towards closing. I could not renew this lease, get my 2 months rental deposit back, go over here to the new construction home, get under contract with that home, walk away from this home free and clean, and just move on. So that's the beautiful thing about the Home Partners of America program. There are many different reasons why somebody might want to use Home Partners of America, but just for me personally, there are programs that are a little better because of the buyback price is not as expensive as the Home Partners of America program, but you also have that added risk because of the fact that you have to put 2% down of the purchase price for these other programs. And if you don't buy that house back, you lose that 2%. That 2% is gone. If you put $8,000, $10,000 down, you just gave them $8,000 to $10,000, and you can move on to the next property, but you're going to lose that $8,000 to $10,000. And nobody want to lose money. So, me personally, if I were doing it, if I know I was strapped for cash and I didn't really have the money, and I thought that, I probably had to stay in a home for 2 years with a rent-to-own program. If I got to stay in a home, period, over a year in a rent-to-own program, I'm using Home Partners of America. There's no other option, whether it's Landis or Divvy Homes. If you can't buy that house back in 1 year, you need to be using Home Partners of America because of the fact that you can walk away without losing any money. If you can't buy the house back from Divvy in 1 year, it's probably going to be way more to buy that house back, and it's probably not going to be appraised for that much. So you probably are going to walk away because you're not going to be able to afford the mortgage on that home at the buyback price that they set. Same thing with Landis. Landis is a lot cheaper buyback price than the other two, but same thing. If you can't buy it back after the first year, the price goes up. Are you going to be able to afford the budget that they're going to, the buyback price that they're going to give you for that second year? You got to weigh all your options. But me personally, if you can't buy that house back in 1 year, you should be going with Home Partners of America. This is one of the best programs in the country. There's a lot of resources that they have different financial advisors available to you to help you throughout the process. I mean, this is a really good program. So for anybody who needs more information on Home Partners of America or wish to start the application process with Home Partners of America, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Desmond with Combs Realty Group, and I look forward to seeing you soon.